What if I told you that sitting in someone's safe right now, maybe yours, is a firearm worth more than a used car, and the owner has no idea? Every single year, thousands of Americans sell guns they should have kept forever. They need quick cash. They think the market's hot. They figure they can always find another one. They can't. Because some guns don't just hold value. They become value. They become history. They become legacy. And once they're gone from your hands, they're gone for good. But here's what most gun owners don't know, and what the dealers at your local shop will never tell you. The laws surrounding these firearms are just as fascinating as the guns themselves. In the United States, the legal status of a firearm can literally double or triple its worth overnight, or make it impossible to own at all. That's the part nobody talks about. We're not just counting down 10 guns you should never sell. We're pulling back the curtain on why these specific firearms exist at the intersection of American gun law, military history, and collector obsession. Some of these weapons were almost banned. Some changed legislation. Some are now legally untouchable in certain states. And number one on this list? It was used in a legal case that rewrote how America defines deadly force. So before you even think about moving any firearm out of your collection, watch this. Because the most dangerous mistake a gun owner can make isn't at the range, it's at the point of sale. We're starting with number 10, and it's a pistol that survived 2 world wars, armed 50 militaries, and is now protected under a kind of collector immunity that most gun owners have never heard of. The Browning High Power, the last design John Browning ever completed. And in several U.S. states, transferring one without understanding its classification could land you in serious legal trouble. That's not a scare tactic. That's federal law. Stay with me, because this list is about to change the way you think about every gun in your safe. You thought you knew gun laws. You don't. Not until you understand what happened in 1986 and why it still controls what you can own, sell, and keep today. The Firearm Owners Protection Act of 1986. One piece of legislation, one political compromise. And it drew a line in American history that cannot be uncrossed. Any fully automatic firearm manufactured after May 19, 1986 is illegal for civilian ownership. Period. But anything made before that date? Legal, transferable, and worth a fortune. That's why guns number 9 through 7 on this list aren't just collectibles. They're pre-86 assets. And the collectors who understand that distinction are sitting on investments that have outperformed gold over the last 2 decades. Take the Sig Sauer P226, number 9 on our list. West German-made variants, the ones issued to Navy SEALs in the 1980s, are now commanding prices that would make a financial advisor raise an eyebrow. But here's where gun law gets interesting. In states like California and New York, certain variants of this pistol run into magazine capacity restrictions that directly impact resale value and transferability. You can own it, but selling it across state lines? That requires a federal firearms license transfer, and the paperwork alone can complicate a private sale dramatically. Number 8, the HK-USP. German engineering at its most ruthless. But the USP's story in American gun law is tied directly to the assault weapons bans of the 1990s. Heckler & Koch had to modify specific features just to maintain importation rights. The pre-ban variants? Completely different legal animal, and significantly more valuable. Number 7. The Glock 19 Gen 5. Now you might be thinking, the Glock? Really? But listen carefully. The Gen 5 was the first Glock to come optics ready from the factory. And in states that have enacted red dot regulations for concealed carry licensing, this specific feature has legal implications for carry permits that most owners overlook entirely. These aren't just guns, they're legal documents in metal and polymer. And we haven't even gotten to the truly untouchable firearms yet. Numbers 6 through 4 carry histories so tangled in legislation, court precedent, and federal classification that selling them without a lawyer's advice might be the most expensive mistake you ever make. Here's a question that will keep you up tonight. Can a firearm be so historically significant that a federal court actually protects it from destruction? The answer is yes, and it happened more recently than you think. Number 6 on our list, the Beretta 92 FS, the M9, the official sidearm of the United States military from 1985 to 2017. When the Army replaced it with the Sig Sauer M17, hundreds of thousands of surplus M9s entered a legal gray zone. Military surplus firearms have a complicated relationship with civilian transfer law under the Arms Export Control Act. Some were destroyed, some were demilitarized. A very small number made it into civilian hands through proper legal channels. If you own a genuine military-issue M9, not a commercial 92 FS, but an actual M9, you may be holding something with provenance documentation that makes it legally and historically significant beyond its firearm classification. Number 5. The Remington 870. This one isn't about rarity. It's about a lawsuit that nearly ended Remington entirely. After the Freedom Group acquisition and the bankruptcy proceedings, the legal status of Remington's intellectual property, warranties, and product liability created a situation where pre-bankruptcy 870s, the ones with steel everything, tight tolerances, and American craftsmanship, became a legally distinct product line from the post-bankruptcy models. Collectors know this. Lawyers know this. Most gun owners don't. And number 4, this is where the history gets dark and the law gets complicated. The Luger P08. Bringing a Luger back from Europe after World War II was legal under the War Trophies Act. But here's what most people don't know. Subsequent transfers of those bring-back Lugers have, in several documented cases, triggered scrutiny under import marking regulations that were never applied when the original veteran brought it home. The gun is legal. The transfer can become a federal paperwork nightmare. There are Lugers sitting in estates right now, inherited by people who have no idea what they're holding legally or historically. And some of those guns are worth $5,000. Some are worth more. We're almost at the top. And number 1 on this list was at the center of a real legal case that changed how American courts define justifiable use of deadly force. You need to hear this. This is where the list ends, and where the truth begins. Number 3. The Beretta M9A4, the evolved, modernized descendant of a military legend. Factory-threaded barrel, optics-ready slide, night sights standard. And here's the legal wrinkle that nobody discusses. Suppressors. The M9A4's threaded barrel makes it immediately NFA-regulated territory the moment you attach a suppressor. That means a $200 tax stamp, a Form 4, an FBI background check, and a wait time that currently averages over a year. In states like California, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, and others, suppressors are banned outright for civilian ownership, which means in those states, the M9A4's most premium feature is legally inaccessible. And yet the gun holds its value anyway, because legacy does that. Number 2. The Smith Wesson Model 29, the .44 Magnum, Dirty Harry's gun, and the centerpiece of a legal and cultural moment in American history that most people have completely forgotten. In the mid-1970s, following the film's release, sales of the Model 29 exploded. So did accidental shootings involving inexperienced owners who dramatically underestimated the .44 Magnum's recoil and terminal ballistics. Several states quietly introduced legislation attempting to restrict Magnum revolver sales. It failed. But the legal conversation it started contributed directly to the framework of handgun regulation debates that shaped the 1980s. You're not just holding a revolver. You're holding a catalyst. And number 1, the Browning High Power. Full circle. In 2023, a federal court case in the Ninth Circuit referenced the high power specifically when ruling on handgun feature restrictions, citing its historical significance as evidence that certain design elements predate modern regulatory frameworks and therefore carry different legal weight in Second Amendment challenges. A gun designed in 1935 was cited in a 2023 federal court ruling. That is what these firearms are. They are not just metal. They are precedent. They are history. They are legal architecture. So the next time someone offers you cash for one of these guns, remember this video. Remember that you're not just selling a firearm. You might be selling a piece of American law. Keep them. Understand them. And never, never let them go without knowing exactly what you're giving away. If this opened your eyes, hit like, subscribe, and share this with every gun owner you know. They need to hear this.